The following recording is the third part of my review of Neil Fiore's book, The Now Habit. In part 3 of his book, the author talks about proper ways to talk to yourself. The first statement that procrastinators often find themselves saying to themselves is, I have to. I have to do my work, I have to go to school, I have to do this. So what they have to does, it sends the message to our subconscious mind saying that I don't want to do it, but I have to. They are making me do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to. I have no choice, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. And what it does, it's negative affects our subconscious mind and send a message that we are in a situation where we cannot win. So we either have to do something we don't want to do and go against our will, or we cannot do it when we're facing the consequences of not doing it. Another statement that the procrastinators often find themselves saying is, I should. A lot of times they use it in past tense. I should have known better. I should be doing my homework. I should be exercising more. I should be eating healthy. I should be. And basically what it does to us is let us know that the reality that we are in right now, it's not where we want to be. But it doesn't lead us to action. It only makes us feel more depressed about where we are now. The normal response of the body is to the have tos and should statements, according to author, is either a stressful response or a depressive response. So you either tell your body, I'm in trouble, we're in trouble, the life is not treating us well, and your subconscious natural way to react is either to prepare to fight or flight, meaning prepare you to, for survival, immediate survival, which is what stress is, or in opposite, it wants you to save the energy for the future struggle where you're gonna have to survive, and you go into depressive response. In the following slide, we're gonna show some of the most common negative statements that procrastinators find themselves dealing with. But before author does that, he talks a little bit about options that we have. And it's important to know the options, because you cannot just replace the statement. You need to know what exactly do you mean by the new statement when you talk to yourself. So the author provides two following short stories that illustrate how the power of choice and the power of commitment can replace our feeling of being victim and feeling that we have to do something. The first story author describes as his own struggles when he was a paratrooper. He was an airborne, and when he was doing his first jump from the plane, the guy who went to jump before him got real scared, and he tried to fight the instructor. He tries to hold on with his fingers before he got kicked out of the plane, and the flight instructor eventually managed to push him out. But when he did, first of all, the guy was, it was very embarrassing in front of his friends, or maybe, it probably was the least of his worries. But second of all, it's also endangered his life, because if you don't jump out of the plane the right way, you actually increase your risk of getting hurt. And the author says at that moment he made a decision that he's gonna jump. He doesn't have a choice over that. He has a choice, but he made this commitment a long time ago, and now he's on the plane. He will jump, but he has a choice of which way he's gonna jump, and he decided he's gonna jump the best way possible, the safest way possible. And when he made this decision to choose how he's gonna do it, he felt empowering sensation. He just went out and did his jump, and his instructor said it was one of the best jumps he ever seen. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I know I can relate. I have many times in my life, just like anybody else, when I feared something, and I chose to act as if I didn't. I chose to do my best, and this decision made me feel empowered. In the second story, the author talks about is a difference from going from resisting change to committing to change. An example he gives of a woman who was struggling with excessive weight. She was a smoker. She ate fast food. She couldn't stop. She knew she should stop. She kind of wanted to stop, but she never really committed to stopping because she really enjoyed this kind of activities. But then one day she found out she was pregnant, and out the door went the cigarettes, out the door went the fast food. One day she transformed, became a new person, because she had another life growing inside of her. And this story is very powerful, and I'm sure a lot of you can also relate to that by seeing how the major life-threatening situation or life and death situation or something very major in life can force people to commit 100% to whatever that is they're going to do. The author also went on to say that you don't have to face the life and death threatening situations, but you can use this experience to better understand how you can implement the similar approaches on a daily basis that will allow you to overcome your procrastination. And the last part the author mentions is the learning how to say no. It's a major problem for procrastinators is inability to not take on the task that they know they cannot commit to. A lot of times people cannot say no, and they end up doing stuff for somebody else, neglecting their own priorities, neglecting their own well-being. The author provides many approaches towards saying no in his book, but then it all comes down to being able to know your inner self-worth and know that just because you say no doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're in danger. Nothing is going to happen to you. You explain to the other person where you stand at and the reason you're saying no, and you know that your internal worth and self-worth is not in danger. So the following are the 5 most common ways that negative self-statements that procrastinators have, and suggested statements that help you look more positively on what the task you have ahead of you. And the author says that you're not gonna get out of your trouble by simply talking your way out of it, but changing your mental attitude first by changing the way you look at things is a huge step and is extremely important. And since I've read this book and became first applying these principles, till this day I find myself constantly thinking these 5 statements in my head or something similar to it, and I consciously change my outlook. And as soon as I do, I feel as if pressure was released and I'm able to actually lift up my head and do something. So here are the 5 self-statements. Replacing I have to do it, I have to, is I choose to. This is very empowering because it lets you know you're not a victim. You're not doing this to please somebody. Everything you do in your life, you're doing because you want to do it. Everything you do in life, you're doing because you chose to do it. You don't have to want to do it. You don't have to love doing it, but you are doing because you don't want to accept the consequences of not doing it. You made a commitment and you're going to follow through with it. You don't have to do it. You've chose to do it. You are doing it. You committed to do it. This is your choice, your life. You are in control. The second statement is I must finish. I must finish. When you think about you must finish, you think towards the end of your process. You see this huge task that needs to get accomplished, and it just freaks you out, scares you, and you no longer want to do it. The author suggests replacing I must finish when or how can I start. Just start. Start a little bit at a time. First step. Take a little step. First step. What can I do? What can I do now? The author says you keep on starting, finishing will take care of itself. That is very true, and it works real well. Just think about starting, not finishing. The next thought is this is so big. This is so big. This is very similar to, thinking about finish. You kind of throw everything all together at once at yourself and it freaks you out. You just look at this task and you think, man, I'm not going to do this. This is impossible. It's so much. I don't want to do this. This is so much. Oh my God. Replace it with I can take one step at a time. It goes hand to hand with just starting. Just think of what is one small step I can do right now and do it. And it will make you feel a lot better and you'll build up momentum. It will help you work better. The next one is I must be perfect. This is another issue that a lot of procrastinators struggle with, is perfectionism. We try to be perfect. Our standard is so high, we will not let anything get in our way of our own standard. Or the way the creative process works, a lot of times, you have to get going. You have to make a rough draft, another rough draft, another rough draft, fix it up, get other people impact, and eventually your work becomes to take a shape and form that is more and more closer to the required standard. It doesn't have to be perfect. So when you expect yourself being perfect in the first try and tell yourself, I must be perfect, I have to do this perfectly, you put additional stress on yourself. And it causes you to worry and not want to do it because you simply know you cannot live up to that standard. So replace I must be perfect is I can be human. I give myself permission to be human. I know I cannot get it done perfectly ever. I know I cannot get it done well on my rough draft, but I'm going to start somewhere. I'm going to take a first step. I'm going to do this and I'm going to see what happens. And it's okay for me to be human. It's okay for me to be just like everybody else. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is not who I am. This is just what I do. And the last one, and we're going to talk more about that one in the future, is I don't have time to play. Now, this is a relatively new approach. We haven't really talked about this kind of stuff in the previous recordings, and author just introduces this in the book. But the idea is that a lot of procrastinators think that just because they have stuff to do, they cannot commit time to take care of themselves. And by play, author means anything like, personal hygiene, proper eating, proper diet, proper rest, spending time with the family, recreational activities. A lot of people think I don't have time to do this. I cannot enjoy myself. I have to do this work, and when I finish this work, then I can relax. This approach makes you feel like you're being a victim of your circumstances. It makes you feel like you don't have a life. It makes you connect your job or your duties to feeling that your life has nothing in it for you. It's mainly a boring job that you have to keep on doing. You don't enjoy it, you don't like it, and your life is a waste of time. While it may appear that this approach will give you more time to work on your project, in reality, it causes you to lose any interest in your work, and it causes you to procrastinate, and in return, you end up doing a lot less than you would have done otherwise. So replace I don't have time to play with I must take time to play. You must take care of yourself. This has to be, and it will be, your number one commitment to yourself, because you are your most important asset. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of your body and your mind and your soul, nothing else will work for you. You will continue procrastinating. So replace I don't have time to play with I must make time to play. I must take care of myself, and I will take care of myself, and I am taking care of myself. In the following courses, we're going to look into greater detail about the benefits of taking care of yourself and how it can improve your productivity.